Who's telling the truth? Nice dissolve, Judy. Uncle Rich here for Who's Telling the Truth. Guys, this is show number 109. Today's date is 9/28/15, and the name of the show is I Lied. Now, a lot of people are going to say, hey, Uncle Rich, are you finally going to confess? Probably Uncle Joey is. He's probably sitting there with bated breath. Oh, Uncle Rich is going to confess. No, wrong. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make Al confess. That's right, guys. There's a guy by the name of Al, and it's Al Alpert or Al Alperson or any, But there are other call-in shows in Danbury. We're coming to you from Comcast, and there are other people that do shows on Comcast, and thankfully they're conservative. And the reason why I say thankfully is that this way we can have some fun. And guys, I was watching Dave Straight's show, and on his show, they were talking about gravity payments. Do you guys remember gravity payments? We did a show on it, show 91, and you can Google WTTT #91, and you can watch the show. It's called Trickle Up Economics, and we did it primarily on gravity gymnastics. And guys, gravity gymnastics is where the CEO decided to give his employees a minimum wage of $70,000. That's right. In 2 years, everybody will be making $70,000 that works at Gravity Payments. So, of course, this is a conservative nightmare. And what do conservatives do when they don't like something? They lie and they make stuff up. And what happened is Al, on his show, and guys, I wish I could play the clip. I can't. They didn't upload the clip to YouTube, but just for verification, the show that I'm talking about, State Representative Dan Carter was at the same table. And he was at the table with Dave Straight, and I forget the other gentleman's name, but Al, and I'm not exactly sure what his last name is, but he made the idiotic statement that Gravity Payments went bankrupt. Plain and simple, they went bankrupt. It's their Solyndra. This is their new Solyndra. So anyway, guys, they have an open line, and I was able to take care of it. And I called up, and in front of all four of them, I said, where are you getting, what we always say on this show, where are you getting your information from? Be specific and cite your source. And you know what? Nobody said boo. So this guy lies, and the other guys sit at the same table and they swear to it. And this is what makes me Meshuggah. This is what brings me in front of the camera. Because from now on, we're not going to let you get away with it anymore. When you lie on TV, I'm going to humiliate you in front of your friends and your family. And I'm not doing this to be evil. I'm not doing it to be mean. It's not a personal vendetta, but we're going to stop the nonsense. That's right. We're going to stop the nonsense, and we're going to replace it with sense. Stuff that is provable, testable, and repeatable. We're not going to let you get away with the shenanigans anymore. You say something, we're going to hold your feet to the fire and make you prove it. And that's why the name of the show is called Who's Telling the Truth? So that when somebody lies, we can point it out. And guys, we're going to point it out beyond a reasonable doubt. That's right. We're going to prove that they're not bankrupt. And it's going to be, and hopefully, this will straighten Al out. And you know, Al, I'll tell you, well, by the time we get done with you, I even put a little rope around the sign so that at Thanksgiving, you know, you could sit at the Thanksgiving table with the little kids. You're not allowed to sit at the adult table because you still have to redeem yourself. But we want you to sit there, and you could just say, and when people say, Al, you lied. Yeah, I lied. I got caught lying. But you know, who knows, Al? This could be a future for you. You know, if somebody needs a professional liar, they're going to know who to get in touch with. Hey, I need a good liar. Hey, give Al a call. He's good. And Rich proved it on his show. All right, so guys, now, you know, when we start the show, we always like to have a little comedy to begin with. So, of course, you know, everything that's been on TV this week is about who? The Pope, right? I mean, it's nonstop Pope. So guys, you know how we like to make fun of Fox News. We love to give them the old bada bing. Well, the next clip, and this is clip number 00, we're gonna show you how the right-wing media welcomes the Pope. So Judy, hit it.
Will Francis and Barack reshape the world by taxing the rich, taxing fossil fuels, and redistributing the wealth? That's exactly what they're trying to do.
He talks about the horror of capitalism. He's anti-trickle-down economics. He supports the Iranian deal.
His job is to get souls into heaven, period. His job is not to tell governments how to spend money.
This is just pure Marxism coming out of the mouth of the Pope. There's no such unfettered capitalism. That doesn't exist anywhere.
Essentially, he's talking about the greed of America.
Is this an anti-capitalist Pope?
The Pope sounds like he is against capitalism.
He has a Marxist background.
This Pope is a world government promoting, anti-gun, global government carbon tax guy.
You got to get the still lined up.
Same people who gave us Obama gave us this Pope.
And then you're going to slide in with the still.
Talk about America's worship of money and our green energy and talk about global warming?
The most dangerous person on the planet is somebody who's seeking strange new respect from their adversaries.
And then we're going to do the other.
We are not bamboozled by a clean white outfit
and
a huge cross.
Right
I've asked the Pope's people if I could put together a team of people that could actually teach the Pope.
He comes out of a Latin American strand of Catholicism that is, frankly, sort of anti-capitalist and anti-bourgeois.
Go visit the Pope and say, this is what capitalism is.
We're not buying this big lie.
He is a Malthusian.
Does this Pope understand America?
The Pope is saying we have to give and give and give, the rich. We have to give and give and give until we're all poor.
And I think it's up to the Catholic people to turn their backs on this Pope before it is too late, before they wake up and find out that they're in chains.
You have a Pope doing this at this point and calling for a planetary government.
He doesn't want to be your grandfather's Pope. He wants to be a modern Pope. All he needs is dreadlocks and a dog with a bandana, and he could be on Occupy Wall Street.
The Pope is a danger to the world.
And as far as I'm concerned, this Pope needs an exorcism.
Guys, you hear what he just said? This Pope needs an exorcism. Well, when you asked for it, we got it. So, Judy, let's slide in with that still. There we go. Guys, isn't this adorable? So the Pope is performing an exorcism on the GOP. And I tell you, Judy, can we go to the next still? There we go. Hey, guys, and then come back to me, Judy, because I want to try to get this point across. But you can go back and forth with that still. Guys, I just want to point out to you. Go back to the still, Judy.
Will Francis and Barack...
No, go back to the still, number 2. There you go. This is unbelievable, isn't it? The 3 most right-wing Supreme Court justices skipped the Pope's address to Congress. All 3 are Catholic. What are they afraid of? God, how could the Supreme Court justices not show up when the Pope is delivering an address? You know why, guys? Because they're faced with a conundrum. They don't know what to do. Do they put their party before the Holy Father? What do? I mean, you got these Christian conservatives. They're stuck. You got guys like Uncle Joey. You know, he's ready to denounce his religion. Why? Because he'd rather live a life of bull. And guys, you know, Al also, nice job, Judy. But Al, when he was on the show, he, in addition to what he said about gravity payments, he also said that he can prove that there is a God. Judy, can you come back with that definition for fact? Give us the full still. Look at this, guys. This is a definition for fact. Something that actually exists. Reality. Truth. Something known to exist or to have happened. A truth known by actual experience or observation. Something known to be true. Guys, you got guys like Al who are living in a fantasy world. Why? Because they've been brainwashed. And I hate to say it. I'm sure he's a nice guy. But you had 4 conservatives sitting there at a table. The one guy lies and the other 3 swear to it. And these guys don't care. They've taken the Pledge of Allegiance to the Republican Party. They don't care. Don't tell me about facts and data. I don't want to know what's real and true. I just want to know what the Koch brothers and the 1% want me to tell everybody else. And guys, now you see why I get so angry. You know what I mean? Because they're misleading people. And that's why you got to get guys like Al to sit at the little kids' table at Thanksgiving. Because they're not critical thinkers. They're not adults. And Al, nothing against you personally, kid. Nothing at all. But I want to make sure that you feel so humiliated that before you say boo, you're going to think about the repercussions. No more. No more. And you know, guys, when I call in the shows, people say, well, Rich, nobody can ever call in on your show. And guys, that's because we're not doing live feeds. But you know what? Starting in November 2nd will be our first live call-in show. So guys, get the questions ready because we're going to have a lot of fun. All right, now the next clip we're going to play introduces us to Dan Price from Gravity Payments. And guys, we did this show back on 4/20. We did it on Pot Day, that's right, 4/20. And we called it Trickle Up Economics. And in the beginning, we're going to meet Dan Price, and he's going to try to explain how he wants to change the business models. So, Judy, let's have clip number 4. Enough of me talking. Let's meet Dan Price. So, Judy, hit it.
Dan Price.
Dan Price.
We founded Gravity on one simple principle. We really never want to make screw you money like the rest of the financial services industry.
Keep it going. They don't want to make screw you money. And what's screw you money? Screw you money is when the bank says to you, you play ball our way or you don't play ball at all. That's it, guys. It's time to change the business model. So let's watch the full clip because we never, on this show, we always like to play everything that I get off of YouTube. So, Judy, let's have the full clip
The
now.
man you're
So
about to
hit
meet
it.
is a veteran when it comes to the credit card business. He helps about 10,000 businesses process your credit card payments. And he's not even 30 years old.
Dan Price.
Wow.
Dan Price.
Dan Price.
We founded Gravity on one simple principle. We really never want to make screw you money like the rest of the financial services industry. Our industry really has the deck stacked in its own favor, and it has a culture and its own set of rules that everybody pretty much plays by. And you know, I think the idea of the industry is don't rock the boat. We're all going to get rich. And you know, why would you challenge that? Gravity Payments reduces the costs and headaches associated with accepting credit cards. Accepting credit cards is actually a major cost for small and medium-sized businesses, and there's a lot of inefficiency and not a lot of value being added. So we're trying to change that, make it really easy for people to accept payments, and also allow them to do it in a way that saves them a lot of time. When I was in a band, there was a coffee shop that we would play at, and the owner of the coffee shop was incredible and really loved her business. She was not necessarily the best business person in terms of being financially savvy. So I helped her redo her gift and loyalty systems. I helped her get a good deal on her credit card processing. And you know, she actually told a bunch of her friends about me. And then I got introduced to a few other business owners, helped them out with similar things. And before you knew it, I had a nice small practice of a couple hundred clients. For us, you know, we have a different purpose for our business. So, you know, we're thinking about those independent business owners and what's good for them, because larger businesses with more negotiating power, they get treated fairly, at least by comparison. And so why not give that same fair treatment to the independent business owner? The executives of our competitors, you know, are sometimes upset at me or upset at us, and they're saying, you know, why are you guys giving that to your customers? Why are you providing that service for them? One of the things I love most about my job is the opportunity to work with such amazing people. Every single person that works here is a key decision maker, and that's a culture that we've just maintained from the beginning. And it doesn't matter if they need to break some rules. It doesn't matter if they need to go outside of the scope of their job. They're willing to do whatever it takes. We're like-minded. We like serving others. And the chance to do that together in a great team environment is really special. We give about $1,000 to each employee that they can give to any charity each year. And we volunteer as a company. So people think that that's the top thing that we do to impact our community, and I don't believe that at all. I think that's a token, but the number one thing we can do to improve our community and invest in our community is just purely by supporting our independent business owner clients. At Gravity, we exist to stand with the little gal or guy who believes in the American dream and is willing to work to chase it.
Yeah. The guy that believes in the American dream and is willing to work hard. What do the conservatives always say? I'm a hard worker. Yeah, you're a hard worker because you're ripping everybody off, charging them a premium for their credit cards when you don't have to. And you know, like he said, Dan said, we never want to make screw you money like the rest of the financial services industries. You know, he said the industry has the deck stacked. Yeah, they do. They got the ball. You know, and they said, don't rock the boat. Hey, never mind rock the boat. We're going to capsize it. Why? Because they pushed us over the edge. And you know, guys, when the 1%, and when you see the wage disparagement and the way the middle class is being sold out, but yet you have companies like this, and guys, we haven't gotten into the good stuff yet, because now you're going to see what his employees have to say, and you're also going to learn a little bit more about the business model. So, Judy, let's have the next clip.
Values drive our company and drive everything that we do.
Honesty, you know, fighting for the little guy, it's really our passion. Every day, we help everyone.
And we really try to just put their needs above anything else.
Gravity Payments reduces the costs and headaches of accepting credit cards. The credit card processing industry favors big businesses and takes advantage of small businesses.
Larger businesses with negotiating power get treated fairly.
Why not take that same fair treatment and apply that to all businesses?
We're thinking about our local business owners and what's good for them.
We saw a few local business owners who needed help with their businesses. Those people told their friends, and soon we had a few hundred clients. Then Gravity Payments was born.
Guys, it's all about businesses helping businesses. You know, it's about getting rid of the corporate model where people put profits before people. You know, and we're just going to show you how they do it. And this guy, he got a special award from the Small Business Administration. He met the president. He was entrepreneur. I mean, this guy is no phony baloney. And when you see what he really wants to do, but this is the last feel-good one, and then we're going to get down. All right, Judy, you come back to me now. There we go. Guys, we're so screwed up because we're playing the clips from 420, and it's just so odd. But anyway, we're going to continue on with that in that same show. But I wanted you to realize how important he feels it is to put his people before the profits. And guys, this is what life is all about. You know, these people that work for him, they can come into work with dignity, you know, with purpose, with a little step in their stride. You know what I mean? Why? Because they don't have to worry about so much. And in the next clip, we're going to show you how trickle-down economics really benefits everybody. So, Judy, let's have clip number 5. The next clip we're going to do is from CBS. Guys, the more you hear about this guy, the more you're going to love him. So, Judy, hit it.
Supporters of equal pay for men and women have declared today Equal Pay Day to highlight the wage gap between the sexes. They say that a woman needed to work all of last year right through this, the 104th day of 2015, to earn what a man made in 2014 alone. Well, everyone is getting a raise at a Seattle-based company. Anthony Mason now with a story you'd probably like your boss to see.
Dan Price made the announcement of the pay raise at his company's quarterly meeting.
And we're going to have a minimum $70,000 pay rate for everyone that works here.
As the CEO explained that minimum salaries at Gravity Payments, a Seattle-based credit card processing company, would jump to $50,000 immediately and to $70,000 within 3 years. His 120 employees sat in stunned silence before bursting into applause and giving their boss a standing ovation.
I think it's life-changing for everybody in various ways.
For Jose Garcia, a 29-year-old equipment supervisor with $54,000 in student debt, his $33,000 salary jumps to $50,000 immediately.
Maybe I cried when I called my mom.
Price says he was inspired by a Princeton study that showed that emotional well-being rises as incomes rise up to $75,000.
So I realized that people that are making less than that, there's an emotional cost that they have every single day. And you only get to live once.
Entrepreneur Magazine's Entrepreneur of the Year in 2014. Price says the move will cut his company's profits almost in half for now. To cushion the blow, he slashed his own $1 million paycheck to $70,000.
I want to be a part of the solution to inequality in this country. And so if corporate America also wants to be a part of that solution, that would make me.
Guys, he's gonna cut his profits in half, but he's putting his people before his profit. And this has to be the new culture. This is the way it's got to be. I mean, and we're going to get a little bit more involved, but guys, the next clip, you better be sitting down for the next clip, because the next clip is from Fox News and from Stuart Varney. And you guys know how much we love to give Stuart Varney the old bada bing. I mean, because Stuart Varney's an out-and-out liar. He is your definition of a foxstitute. I am not kidding you. You know, and sometimes when I watch this guy, I say to myself, well, you'll get, you know, we'll play the clip and you'll get a little flavor, but I mean, we've shown stuff with Stuart Varney before that you just say to yourself, why? I mean, you could see how he sold his soul to the Koch brothers and the 1%. So, Judy, let's have the next one.
I want to bring you something really fantastic here. I'm going to bring you the man who is making $70,000 a year, the minimum wage at his company. Lunatic of all lunatics, Dan Price, CEO of Gravity Payments, is here. There's the man. This is the man who's doing it. Are you a socialist?
I'm not a socialist.
Okay, let me explain what you're doing here.
Yeah.
You make $1 million a year. You run your own company.
Right.
You read a survey that says happiness increases if you get towards $75,000 a year.
Right.
And you want to spread some happiness within your company, right?
What I really want to do, I want to have purpose, right? What I love about my work is that I have a purpose every day. I'm passionate about independent businesses, saving them money, giving them good payment processing services, and my team members are too. But sometimes if you're a little bit below what it takes to scrape by, that can be distracting from that passion, from that purpose that you have for what you do. And so I'm all about achieving at the maximum amount, but I want to remove those distractions and basically help people move forward.
Look, I think it's a terrific idea. I think you're an extremely generous person, and that's a fact, you are. So you make $1 million a year, but you're taking a pay cut down to $70,000 a year, correct?
That's correct.
And you're taking some money from your profits and chucking it all into the big pot, so everybody makes $70,000 minimum.
Yeah, but let me be clear. I think that this is going to be a great thing for our company. I think it's going to be a great ROI. I think people that don't think it's going to be an ROI, they're looking too short term.
When you look long, that's return on investment.
Return on
You're going to
investment.
get something back for your generosity.
Absolutely. And I actually think that the way we look at it is about trust and it's about values. So when you take care of people, they tend to take care of you. And about 1.5 years ago, we instituted unlimited vacation for all of our team. And sure enough, you know, productivity went up. Paid time off, even though it was unlimited, didn't really go up. When you trust people, they really take care of you.
Okay. You can do this without raising the price of your service.
Correct.
Do that. You don't think you lose any kind of motivation, because if everybody's up at that level, are they motivated to keep climbing that food chain?
I thought about that. You know, the other thing is I don't want anyone stuck at my company because they can't afford to work somewhere else. They'll have to take a pay cut. So those are some of the things that we have to work through. And I think with this change, we'll have different problems, different challenges. But I think what you see is inequality in this country is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And a lot of times people are proposing government solution, like in Seattle where I live, we have the $15 an hour minimum wage. And for me, that's a sign of failure that we didn't self-regulate and self-govern. And had we done things like this, there'd be no need for an outside entity.
Look, I don't approve of government rules saying you've got to pay this, you've got to pay that. I don't personally approve of that, because that's government intervention.
Right.
You on the same team as me?
You know, I would like to think that if we step up, it won't be necessary. I think sometimes government has to intervene and regulate, and sometimes they should.
Not everybody's going to do this.
Correct.
I mean, look, you're a young guy. What, you're 30 years old?
30 years old.
You're 30 years old. I don't know whether you've got responsibilities like family and all that jazz. I don't know that. But
here's the point.
Not everybody can take a pay cut from $1 million to $70,000. Not everybody wants to take a big risk organizing a company, work long hours, and then give it away.
You know, I think I should be paid market rate so that I as a CEO can be replaced if I can't work for some reason. And so I'll get back up to it. That's not an issue. It might take me 2, 3, 4, 5 years, and I'm willing to make that investment. So again, this is a short-term sacrifice for a long-term gain.
But it is your company.
It is my company, so it's my decision. And I appreciate your point, how it's nice for me to be able to make this decision. And I agree, but I do think there is also a moral imperative of us as leaders to try to do the best we can for everybody. And I think if we step up and take these problems seriously, there will be less need for politics to be involved.
Okay. I looked at the videotape when you made the announcement. I think that's gone viral, by the way.
It was crazy.
You lit up the world with this thing. Every guy, look at them. Every single guy, ones that I can see, most of them, they got beards. What's with that?
You know, we're in Seattle. We got to be a little hipster.
Look, they're all over the place.
Cool.
Beard after beard after beard.
We like those beards right now, you know, growing it in, just trying to look good, right?
It's a Seattle thing?
It's a Seattle thing. It's a Brooklyn thing. It's a young people thing. We're enjoying it.
Young people?
Yeah.
Is that a dig at me?
I have to tell you, though, the thing that will surprise you, people keep asking me, are getting flooded with resumes. I'm getting flooded from my clients and other independent businesses that want to do business with us, that want to purchase from our company because of these values. So it's a little bit different spin, and there actually is a competitive element to this, which I think you'll like.
I do like it.
Yeah.
Was it a publicity stunt?
No, it wasn't, and I actually didn't. I thought that we might get a little bit of publicity, and it could pay 5 or 10%.
Are you a leftist who wants to lead the charge for egalitarianism? Is that you?
I'm not a leftist or a righty. But what I do want to do is I want to find a practical solution to solve the problem. And if Republicans or Democrats or progressives or conservatives want to take credit for it, so be it. Let's fix the problem. I'll be happy. I don't care about the credit.
Look, I'm not on the other side of the fence from you. I think what you've done is a terrific thing. I think you're a very generous man. I take my hat off to you. I really do.
Thank you. Thank you. And you're going to follow suit, I've heard.
You've heard? From who?
Oh, that's what everyone's saying.
Name your source.
It's buzzing all around the office that, you know.
Oh, you really?
Yeah.
Great idea, by the way.
Some people I invite back onto the program, but you're out of here. Dan Price, everyone.
Guys, did you hear what he said? We need a capitalist solution to a social problem, a social issue. And guys, I think he's got it. Now, we'll see as time goes on. Did he make a mistake? I don't know. But you know what? We'll find out. You know, a lot of people are going to say, oh, Rich, this is just a brilliant marketing ploy. Well, you know what? If it was a brilliant marketing ploy, good for him. Because I tell you what, he's got me telling people to pick up the phone to see if his company can save him money. And like I said before, there's only 1 or 2 things that can happen. Yes or no. So guys, don't be foolish. If you own a small business, if you own any business that takes credit cards, if we can save you some money, do it. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap I want to wrap it up with the trickle-up economics by trying to explain it as easily as I can. Did you see the one guy that was making $33,000 a year? He got an automatic raise to $50,000 a year. Now, do you realize what a shock it is to get a raise like that? Now, the fact that he got such a substantial raise, let's say he was looking at a house. So he goes out, and now because he's got this newfound wealth, it puts him in a new tax bracket. He's proven that he's making more money, so he qualifies to buy a house. So he goes down and he puts a down payment on a house. Well, the real estate agent, you know, her car is a little shabby, and she's been waiting for one more deal so that she can go down and put a deposit on a new car. So she goes and she buys a new car. And the guy that sells her the new car, he's able to go out and buy that new large screen TV that he's been promising his family. And the guy that sold him the new TV, he's now able to go out and have a nice dinner at a local restaurant. And after he has a nice dinner at a local restaurant, he leaves a nice tip for the waiter or the waitress so they can go out. And the money circulates. And it's called trickle-up economics. And how does it work? Because people aren't being paid slave wages anymore. They're being paid living wages where they can spend the money into the local community. And guys, he's got the right idea. And, you know, of course, Al and his conservative buddies, well, you know, they went bankrupt. Well, guys, this is a clip that was done by CNN, and it was published on YouTube on August 9th. So remember, the first clip was from 4/20, so now it's 5 months later, and we're going to show you that they're not bankrupt, that they're doing well, and then we're going to confirm it so that we can put this to rest. So Judy, let's have clip number 6.
Welcome back. When Dan Price, the CEO of Gravity Payments, announced that the minimum salary for his employees would be set at $70,000, and he took a big pay cut himself, he received a lot of praise for addressing the issue of low wages and income inequality. He also, though, received some criticism from some of his own employees who thought it wasn't fair to give raises to workers who didn't necessarily earn it. Also, some said he was using his company to make a political statement. So we wanted to know how it has all worked out so far. Joining me is Dan Price, CEO of Gravity Payments. Thank you for being here, Dan.
Thanks for having me, Poppy.
I want to play what you told my colleague, Carol Costello, just a few months ago when you announced this. Let's roll it.
You know, I was getting pretty emotional, to be honest, as I got there, and I lost it a little bit. And so I was watching other people, and I think they were trying to figure out, like, is this a joke? Is this real? And some of them were like, oh my gosh, this is the most amazing thing ever. And there was just this long silence that lasted what felt like an eternity. And then everyone erupted and started screaming.
I mean, people were really thrilled and really excited. But the road from there to now has been tough. How has it gone?
Well, I want to address the notion of whether or not the team really deserved it. My team at Gravity Payments, which works so hard, they've actually saved hundreds of millions of dollars for independent businesses. And that's our mission, to help independent businesses succeed and to give them better options on their credit card processing. So I think they deserved it, but I also think that you have to look at the human impact, and I think you have to look at, is it worth it to make a short-term sacrifice to create a long-term gain? And I'm being criticized a lot for the short-term sacrifice that I'm making. People are, you know, in some cases poking fun at me or saying, like, look at this guy, he's going to fail or he's failing. But actually, I think we can actually take pride in that sacrifice. And while, you know, the obstacles in front of us have gotten bigger, our resolve hasn't changed. We're more determined than ever to make this work.
So here's why I mentioned that, right? Because there was this long, fascinating New York Times piece on you about a week ago, and it included two of your most valued employees quitting, right? And one of them told the New York Times, quote, now the people who were just clocking in and out were making the same as me. It shackles high performers to less motivated team members. What do you make of that?
Well, I think it's a valid opinion, and, you know, both of these team members are people that, although they don't work at Gravity anymore, they're still valued friends and counselors that I speak to, and I value their opinion. I value what they had to say. On the other hand, for me, it's a non-negotiable. If we're actually able to pay everybody enough that they can live a normal life within a mile or two of our office, then to me there's a moral imperative to create some standard, some floor. And we all agree that there should be some kind of floor, or most agree. It's just a debate about where that floor should be.
So let me ask you this. When you look at the debate over income inequality in this country, many times you hear people refer to how many times more some chief executives in this country make than their average employee, right? 200 times, 300 times, et cetera. Do you think that there should be a cap on how many times more a leader can make than their average employee?
You know, you're not going to get a lot of opinions on me on macroeconomic theory just because I'm not qualified to give opinions on those things. But what I saw was inequality was a huge issue in my small micro community at Gravity Payments. And when I talked to my friends who are really smart at economics, it didn't matter if somebody was libertarian, Republican, Democrat, or socialist. Everybody agreed that income inequality was growing and that was not good for the country. On the other hand, I can kind of control my little micro group And so for me to be able to do something to address the issue, even if it was bold, it was something that I felt like was the right thing to do, and actually I'm really happy about the decision that I made in spite of the challenge I faced.
Let me ask you this. Could a publicly traded behemoth of a company do what you did and set a minimum salary at, say, $70,000 like you did?
Absolutely they could. And not only could they, I think we'll see that many will. I got an email exchange with Sheryl Sandberg. She's the chief operating officer of Facebook. And they set a minimum salary that's different than what the jurisdictions that they operate in would set. And it wasn't as high as mine, but it was still a step in the right direction. And it proves it can happen. I think one of the questions that you can ask is, what can we as a company do? And Warren Buffett, one of the best investors of all time, he says, treat a business like a business. Don't treat it like a vehicle to speculate on what the value is going to be. And so if you can see in your business that you can have better long-term structural integrity by paying everybody that works there a fair wage, you might actually hurt the way Wall Street looks at you, but by having a better business, eventually Wall Street and their perceptions are going to catch up to the health of you and your company.
Bottom line, Dan Price, would you do it again? I know it's been a bumpy road, but would you do it again?
You know, the road's been bumpy, the challenges have been big, but our resolve and the team determination that we have is more than I could have ever imagined, and I'm thrilled that we're taking on this challenge.
So nice to have you on, Dan. It's an important conversation to keep having. Thank you.
Thanks, Poppy.
Now, guys, did we prove our point? No. 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 Why? Because even though that was done on August 9th, they could have went out of business in between then and now, right? So how are we going to prove if they're still in business? Aha! What if we try calling them? What do you think, guys? Let's see, they're in Seattle. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. That's not supposed to happen. Let's try this again. Oh, all right, hold on. Two, 6 3 8 8 5 9 0. Come on, baby. Come on.
Thank you for calling Gravity Payments.
Whoa.
Press 1.
The phone still works.
Press 2. For sales, press 3.
Press 1. Hello?
Your call.
Hello? Come on, don't let me down.
Gravity Payments, this is Janae.
Hi, Janine. My name is Rich Frasconi, and I'm calling you from Danbury, Connecticut. Right now, we're doing a community access TV show called Who's Telling the Truth? And somebody said that Gravity Payments went out of business. And the reason why we're calling is to find out if you're in business or not. So are you guys still in business?
We sure are. I totally answered the phone, right?
Well, that proves my point. But you know what, Janine? We do it. Like I said, we do a community access TV show, and to prove that we're everything we say we are, if you Google WTTT #109, you're going to see tonight's show will be coming up in about 2 or 3 hours, and we had some splendid endorsements of Gravity Payments. And I tell you, I couldn't be happier that you picked up the phone to verify that everything I said is true. I want to wish you and Dan Price and all the other people at Gravity Payments the best of luck, and I want to thank you for everything you've done. Janine, it was a pleasure. Take care.
All right, you too. Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, now I know. Somebody's going to say, well, how do we know you call Gravity Payments? How do we know? Guys, you're just going to have to take me for my word. And you're going to have to take me for my word that today's date is 9/28. I was going to use my Siri to explain it to you, but I think by now you know that we're telling the truth. All right, so anyway, guys, we've proven that Al is a total fraud and a liar. And when he came up and he said that the company was bankrupt, he should be ashamed of himself. But you know what, guys? Well, you know, rather than just have Al wear the I lied sign, we're going to give him an option. Because you know what? It's possible. It's just possible that Al is ignorant enough where he didn't know enough to look it up. And that's why we surround ourselves with the question marks. So, Al, you have your choice. You can either emphatically state that you lied, or you can say you didn't know any better, and you didn't tell the truth. That's your way out, kid. Just plead ignorance. Really, plead ignorance. We'll let it go this way. But from now on, whenever you say something, you better make sure that you got your act together, because I tell you, I'm going to come looking for you. And, you know, this show I was thinking of maybe caning or flogging, but you know what? We're not going to cane you or flog you. The next time, how about a little pillory? Judy, can you give us still number 7 now? And just in case, there we go. So Al, the next step for you, baby, you don't learn to tell the truth, that's where you're going to end up. And Judy, can we have the next still, please? And this is just to tell you what a pillory is. The pillory remained in use even later than the stake. A pillory is a set of 2 parallel wooden boards clasped together with holes for the neck and wrists. When open, the victim places his or her head and arms through the holes. Then the pillory is closed and the victim can't possibly escape. No, don't go there, Judy. We're going to go to the last still. But the pillory itself does no harm to the victim, though it's certainly not comfortable. The entire apparatus was usually placed on a stage in a public place. The entire point was to humiliate and shame the victim for his or her crime. And there we go. There's our buddy Al, and with his sign. Now, that guy was locked up for public drunkenness. But Judy, come back to me. We're going to have Al put the sign on, and he's got his choice. He can say he lied, or he can put on the sign, and he can say he was ignorant, and he didn't know the truth. So we're giving him an avenue. We're giving him an avenue of escape. Al, you make the choice. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave both these signs in the studio. And when you come on to do your next show, I expect to see you wearing one of the 2 signs. I think it's only fair, and I think you owe it to the citizens of Danbury, Connecticut for lying to us or not telling us the truth. One or the other. Okay, we'll let you take the high ground. All right. Now, guys, now we're going to come up with another guy who just always tells the truth. And this is going to be a clip from Bernie Sanders about income inequality. And we're going to let Judy dissolve in and out with the different charts so that you can see that not only what Bernie is saying is true, but you'll be able to see it in a chart to verify it. So, Judy, let's have clip number 10, and then you can do your dissolve thing. There we go.
The senior citizens of this country said, thank you, but no thank you.
Hey, Bernie, it's Michael Moore, and I'd like for you to just explain to people the
basic things that are what's wrong with American capitalism these days.
Michael, thanks very much for that very important and, in fact, profound question. To do that question justice would take a lot more time than what we have today, but let me just say a few things. Capitalism does a lot of things that they do it well. It creates wealth, it sparks the entrepreneurial spirit, and that's great. But on the other hand, what we have had, especially since the Reagan administration, is an unfettered, cowboy-type capitalism, which has ended up with the shrinking and decline of the middle class, a very significant increase in poverty, and the reality that the people on top, the top 1% or 2%, are making out like bandits. Top 1% earns more income than the bottom 50%. That is, to my mind, immoral. And from an economic perspective, it is not good. You have CEOs of large corporations making 400 times more than their workers. I'd like somebody to explain to me how that makes any sense, both from a moral and an economic perspective. The United States today has the highest rate of childhood poverty. We are the only nation in the industrialized world that doesn't guarantee health care to all of its people. When kids go to college in America, they often come out $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in debt. I think all of that is wrong, and I think as a nation, we can do a lot better than that. Now, you look at some countries in Scandinavia and Europe, and what they have said is, sure, we want to capture the entrepreneurial spirit, but we want a strong social safety net that protects the middle class and working people. So this is what they've got. When you have a baby in Denmark or in Finland, you know what? You get paid, you get your salary, or a large part of it, to stay home with your baby so that your kid has a good start in life. Quality childcare is free because they understand it's important that kids do well, and they provide that. Their educational system is very strong. You want to go to college? Well, you know what? It's either free or almost free. They understand that workers are under a lot of stress, that you can't work 51 or 52 weeks a year. So in those countries, you have 30 or 40 days a year off with paid vacation. So to my mind, that's the kind of direction that we've got to move in. And we have seen some positive results over the last decades in the United States. You know, when George Bush wanted to privatize Social Security, the senior citizens of this country said, thank you, but no thank you. We don't necessarily want to invest all of our retirement income in the stock market, as volatile as that is. We would like to make sure that we get a check every single month. People are proud of that. Medicare has its problems. But you know what? You ask seniors about how Medicare compares with the private insurance that they used to have, and they say, we like Medicare very, very much. Talk to veterans around this country about the Veterans Administration, and they will say they are very proud of this government-run healthcare system, which provides quality healthcare to all of them as a right of their service. So we have a lot that we can build on. But I think what we have got to do is end the survival of the fittest mentality, this Darwinian concept that says we all have to fight against each other, and maybe a few of us will crawl our way to the top and make billions, but we're leaving around kids who are sleeping out on the streets, kids who are hungry, families that can't afford to send their kids to college. Can we do better than that? I think we can. I think we can. I think we can have a society where all of our people have at least a minimum standard of living, where all of our people have health care, where all of our people are able to get a good education, including high quality education, where child care is high quality and available to working families. So I think we've got a lot of work in front of us, and I think we can do that. We can create a nation in which all of our people do well, rather than what we have right now, in which the people on top are doing extraordinarily while so many other people are suffering. Michael, thanks very much for that question.
All right, guys, isn't that a cute picture of Bernie? All right, Judy, how much time do we have left? We haven't gotten over this. How much? 3 minutes. Oh, brother. All right, what we're going to have to do is, guys, there's a new movie coming out. So, Judy, well, you know what? Judy, let's go to still number 13. The reason why I want to do this is our good buddy Marty Heiser, who is always on, he does a show and he's on Thursday night. So Judy, we want to go to, there we go. And Marty claims that his sister lives in Seattle, and ever since they raised the minimum wage to $15 an hour, there's so much unemployment that people don't know what to do. Well, guys, once again, Marty hasn't been telling you the truth. And Judy, if we go to still number 14, we're going to look at a chart, bring the whole thing up. Seattle area's jobless rate drops to 3.6%. So, I mean, so Marty gets on TV and he does the same thing that Al did. So you know what? Maybe I have to make up more signs, you know? I mean, really, the way these guys are going, I'll probably need more, because if you listen to Marty and if you listen to his sister, I don't think they're pathological liars. I just think they've taken the Republican Pledge of Allegiance and they refuse to accept the truth. And guys, the very last thing we're going to do, and we're going to have to run out with this. Oh, and Judy, one last thing. Martino's, that always brings us the delicious pizza every week. When we do the graphics at the end, when we go by Martino's, can you go by slow so people can, okay? So anyway, let's run that last clip. This is from Naomi Klein. And this is a movie that's coming out, guys. So let's do this clip number 15.
Obviously,
and then we'll run the graphic. No, not that one, Judy. That's number 12. We want to go to 15. There we go. Beautiful.
The majority of the human race does not see global warming as a serious threat. Celebrate! Climate legislation is dead.
We, in the global north, with less than 20% of the population, are responsible for over 70% of global emissions.
We are drilling all over the place.
On the other side of the world, those people who are the most affected by climate change, most affected by environmental injustice, have the least responsibility for creating this crisis in the first place.
Hindi lang mga batu, sir. Inil, sir. Inil nila tako na ba? Batu.
The amount of fossil fuel that we're combusting year on year is growing. We're going in completely the wrong direction.
I've spent 6 years wandering through the wreckage caused by the carbon in the air and the economic system that put it there.
So that's something else to look forward to. And I tell you, the other thing that we have to look forward to, I can't wait to see if Al's going to man up. These are going to be sitting in the cabinet waiting for you, Al. Let's see if you're going to be man enough to where, I gave you an option. I gave you an out. You can get out like a gentleman. It's up to you. And it's up to the other guys. And you know what? From now on, when you say something, you're going to make sure that you cite your sources and you don't embarrass yourself.